Hey, howdy, hey. Welcome back to Avilla Theory. We've missed you. I'm Nicole Avilla, and this is my husband, CJ Avilla.
Hi, friends.
And it has been 4 months since our last podcast.
No way.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, March to July. I think that's 4 months. Pretty sure.
Yeah. Sorry,
Doing
friends.
my math right there. Well, we've been busy, as have, I'm sure, the rest of the world.
Yeah. Everyone's busy. It's been a crazy time.
Mm-hmm. And so we kind of went back and we re-listened to our last episode, and it was a real trip.
It was a trip because just at the end, I was saying, like, someday we might see workers in drive-thrus wearing masks to, like, protect themselves. And we were saying, just try your best to stay home for the next 3 weeks. And here we are, 4 months later.
We're still at home. So we wanted to talk a little bit about what we've been doing the last 4 months and just kind of, get back into the groove of hanging out with you guys. Mm-hmm. So, let's see. We thought we were only going to have 3 weeks off from school and that we would resume school and I would resume work because I worked at the school. And turned out they closed school for the rest of the school year, which I think they did nationwide.
Yep.
So that was pretty much what everybody was going through. And also, if you guys remember, we have a short-term rental in Kings Beach, California. And that is located in Placer County, and Placer County also shut down short-term rentals.
Yeah.
So we could not rent our cabin.
We couldn't rent the place. Yeah.
What did we do?
So instead, what we did was we sort of we already had a planned time up there that was going to replace an anniversary trip that we were going to go on.
Right. So we were supposed to go to Mexico, and that got canceled.
Yeah, the
but
Mexico
you
trip got
kept the
canceled.
time off from work.
Yes. So we kept the time off from work, and we're like, okay, instead of going to Mexico, since the cabin isn't booked, we'll go to the cabin.
With the kids.
Oh my gosh, we are so lucky. Our life is crazy. Like
Absolutely. I still can't believe that we got to do that.
Yeah, we're in a really fortunate and lucky and blessed situation here with. So we instead of going to Mexico, we went to the cabin with the kids. Mm-hmm. The kids were not going to come with us to Mexico, but we went to the cabin and we were there for a week. I had the week off work, and we just did a ton of projects around the house. A whole bunch of improvements to the cabin that we've wanted to make for a long time, just like really manual labor stuff, digging ditches and, taking care of things that we needed to get taken care of around the house. And then at the end of the week, we were like, it's so nice up here. Mm-hmm. It's ridiculously nice up here. And we're not going to be able to rent it for the foreseeable future. There was like no clear end in sight for Placer County lifting the short-term rental ban. And so we just decided to basically stay up there.
Yeah, because we were homeschooling, right? Like we were still doing schoolwork. Our kids' school, I mean, obviously this was unprecedented and nobody knew how to handle the situation, mm-hmm. but the teachers did their best and the kids were doing a few Zoom calls and they were still being given a ton of work, but it was all from home.
Yep.
So why not take the opportunity to self-isolate
mm-hmm.
somewhere else?
Yep.
So we did.
We did. And also, like, it's so close to Reno that it was easy for me to come back and work from Reno.
Right. Because you've got a beautiful office.
Yeah, my studio's all hooked up and everything. So that was really convenient. So we got tons and tons of projects. We redid the entire garden. That was something that you focused on a lot in the beginning. Because mm-hmm. when we moved up there, mm-hmm. it was just at the tail end of winter, and so like everything just looked so sad and dead, and there was just twigs and
sticks,
all the trees were just
And taking it back a little further, when we purchased the house, it had a beautiful garden.
It did, yeah.
And we proceeded to kill it over the next
it was so neglected.
Years.
Yeah, we didn't put any. We put a little effort, but not like we did not give it the TLC.
And we didn't know how.
Yeah, we were more focused on the inside of the house too.
That's true.
So
and we're never up there consistently.
Yeah.
So it didn't have an irrigation system, so it was never getting consistent water, and mm-hmm. I think it just failed to thrive. So
yes.
We worked a lot on that.
Yeah. How many plants did you add to it?
I think 4. Okay. Maybe 5.
Yeah.
And a few sprouted that I had never seen before. Like they were finally. So we put in an irrigation system.
Yeah.
Man, that feels like a lifetime ago.
I know.
We watched a bunch of YouTube videos to really figure out what would be easiest and best for us. Mm-hmm. And so we ended up just. So
we have a hose bib.
Yes.
And from the hose bib that's outside that we don't have like we didn't have any official hookups for irrigation. We just have the hose bib. And so we got a Y, kind of what is it called? A Y joint? I don't know. That like it's like a splitter connector, basically. Yeah. So it's a splitter at the hose bib that gives you 2 spouts. One of them now feeds to a Wi-Fi based drip irrigation controller, and the other one feeds to a hose, so we can still just like hose off the patio and clean stuff down. And there was a ton of hosing down because the pollen this year was absurd. There was just like blankets of pollen every day.
Yeah. So we ended up attaching a soaker hose for the main part of the garden. And then we realized how easy that was and got really brave, and I think added another like T or Y or some sort of splitter, because we have a small planter box up there as well. And so we added irrigation to that, and then added bark and added, I was adding organic fertilizer, which was super stinky.
Yeah, it smells
so bad.
Poop in your yard for sure.
And trimmed things back and then just kind of let it go. And it has flowered beautifully. Yeah. It's incredible.
I think most of our effort, like if we look at the theme of the projects we did, it was around the garden and getting like the whole front yard fixed up. We so like the planter box used to have a little 2x6 topper, like a rim around the top. And folks would sit on it and stand on it and whatever. And the wood that it was built with was reclaimed from an old deck that used to be there. So it was redwood, but it was probably from like the 50s maybe or the 40s. And so it was just kind of crumbling into pieces. And so we took the top off of the planter and replaced it with big 2x10, a big 2x10 platform that Dad came and like showed me all kinds of crazy techniques with pocket screws and stuff, and then you stained it, and we like put supports so that you could actually sit on it, and it became like a functional feature. And then we just put like, I don't even know how intentional we were about the few plants that were inside there. Yeah. And now they've grown like, oh my gosh, they're shooting out like 3 feet above the top of the planter. It's just incredible. It was really the timing that we were there. We were really fortunate because it was the end of winter into spring. So were we there for what, 6-7 weeks? I think it was 7 weeks. And so in that time we got to see like just earth come to life. It was wild. Yeah. It was, plants went from 0 to these big, beautiful blooming flowers. And so now, I mean, we've been home for at least 3 weeks now. And we actually went up yesterday just to kind of check in after a guest, because we can now rent it again. Yeah. We wanted to check in after this guest, and we got to see our garden again, and it was just so cool to see how much it had changed. So we did that, and then we added those stepping stones as well to the garden, and we just kind of cleaned it up. Yeah. So there's like another there's another rule that was introduced by Placer County recently around really kind of like tightening up restrictions on short-term rentals, because they've had fires and they've had noise nuisances and parking issues. And so rather than just like shut down all short-term rentals, they wanted to like add some new enforcement and some new permitting that you have to get. And as part of that, you have to make sure that your barbecue is more than 10 feet away from the structure if you have an outdoor barbecue. And so one of the things we did too was we built like a little patio parking spot for the barbecue, platform for the barbecue into the garden. Yep. Yeah. So that was kind of cool. Good job. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. But yeah, we got a huge pallet of stepping stone rocks that are, each one must have been like, I don't know, 40 pounds, 50 pounds. They were really heavy. They're super heavy, big, huge stones. We got the pallet delivered and then just kind of laid them down around the river rock, and gives you a little bit of a cleaner way to walk around the garden. Provide some visual interest. Yes, as well. So yeah, tons and tons of projects, and you did a really good job with keeping up with the kids' schoolwork. Can you talk about like? Yeah, so like I mentioned, it was still going on, so we just kind of got into a routine. We would start every morning by about 9:00. Man, this COVID life has been really nice. I've been able to sleep until 7 pretty much every day, which has been
really cool. So I'd get up and we'd have breakfast and get ready for the day, and CJ would start work. And the boys and I just sit at the dining room table, and thankfully we have my laptop, and we would borrow CJ's laptop and just kind of plow through all of the work that they had. Grayson, even though he's only a year above Logan in school, his work was way more independent. So it was really nice for me because I could say, okay, Grayson, these are the things you need to do. His teacher would send home this great organizational chart, and he could just say, okay, I know what I need to do. And he would get started. Logan, being a kindergartner, needed a lot more hand-holding. And I was really glad that they both didn't need that, because that would have been really hard to do. But yeah, we just kind of got into the routine. The teachers, would send the same type of work every week. And I mean, we did that until the first week of June. And then they officially passed their grades. So we moved on.
We were supplementing with a couple things too. We were just like giving them a little bit extra
as
math
we always
work.
do. I was also really thankful. A lot of companies started offering things for free for a few months, which they've now not all, but I've noticed some of them have stopped. So one that we really loved was Mystery Science. That's a guy who's just done a bunch of like science projects online, and he helps you figure out how to do projects at home as well. So we did that a bunch. We did a whole ton of yoga YouTube, which I think we talked about before. Scholastic was doing a lot of free books online, so we did those. A really cool one, which I know is still free, is on YouTube. There are people who are in space or were in space, and they read books to kids. And so we watched those, and that was really exciting.
I forgot about that. That was cool.
Yeah. So there were just a lot of things online that helped us supplement and feel like the kids were still learning.
Yeah.
And our school offered IXL and RAS Kids, which are math and reading programs. And so we did a lot of that.
Yes.
Which we still like to include in the summertime. Like, that's part of their daily routine. So
totally. Yeah.
And then we would go on walks. We got to walk. We were really lucky. We got to walk to the beach. It was still pretty chilly, and nobody could do short-term rentals, so it was pretty empty. Yeah,
it was so nice for many weeks there. And then like it got uncharacteristically warm in April.
It did.
It was like hitting the near 80s, right? And so we got to go to the beach when there was no short-term rentals up there. There was no hotels up there that were open. Everything was still shut down. They only allowed locals at the beach. Social distancing was pretty easy because there was no one around.
Yeah.
And, we just got to kind of decompress from all of the chaos and turbulence in the world.
It was a cool vibe up there. You could tell that it was mostly people from Reno that were just trying to get out of the house and go up there, get some fresh air, and it was great.
Yeah.
We did learn something up there, though. I feel like our entire relationship, we have known that, we were meant for each other, and we have the same values, and everything is fantastic. But we have a hard time finding hobbies that we both love.
Yeah, it's a challenge.
The things that we always fall back on are going out to eat and drinking.
Yeah, or vacation.
And we do like vacation.
Disneyland.
That's expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, Disneyland for sure. Yeah. But we wanted more. I mean, you can only go out to eat so many times.
We want more hobbies. We were like looking, I think we were both looking for something. Like we through our relationship, we've both had stuff we're like, oh, super excited about. And then the other person's like, yeah, like that's kind of cool. But like.
Not my favorite.
Yeah, not my favorite. I wish I could get into it more with you. Or vice versa. And so, we're always kind of trying to like find activities, especially those that might involve outdoors or exercise and the kids. And so we just like, we found, or not, I don't know about found, but
we remembered
that we both really like.
Go ahead.
All right. Are you going to let them guess what it is?
No, just do it.
Okay. Bike riding.
We both love to bike.
We both love bike riding.
I remember riding my bike all the time as a kid, and CJ was totally
I was a huge BMX nerd. Yeah. And we've both had bikes our entire relationship, and we've gone on bike rides a ton.
I think what happened,
our kids love bikes,
is that we did have bikes, but our bikes always got flat tires. And so we got discouraged. We're like, why do we want to go bike riding when we go
every
a mile
single time we were getting a flat tire? It was so annoying.
Yeah. But we figured out we just needed a different type of bike.
Yeah.
With maybe a little bit thicker tire.
Yeah.
And so we went on a bunch of bike rides. So Grayson is big enough and experienced enough that he could do all of the bike rides with us.
Yep.
And Logan had what we call the trailer bike.
Trailer bike. He's in tow behind me.
Yeah.
For
and
now.
So we got to explore a lot, and it was a lot of fun. And so we wanted to keep it up when we came home.
Yep.
Which we have. I think every weekend we've gone on at least one bike ride.
Yep. And what's super cool too is that like it's a good way to get exercise. It's a good way to go outside and get some sun. Vitamin D is supposed to be really, really helpful for fighting COVID. I think bike riding is just fun. Like you just get going
and you can still be 6 feet away from
social
other people.
distancing is easy.
I think that the whole country has gotten into bike riding though, because every place we've gone to, not that we've been many places, but we've seen the bikes at Walmart. They're like completely cleared out.
Yeah, Target's cleared out.
Yeah, we went so we have this local place. We wanted to get Grayson a new bike because he outgrew his, and we wanted to give his old one to his little brother.
Yeah.
And so we heard about this local place that's a nonprofit run by volunteers, and they generally put on summer camps to teach kids about how to care for their bikes and how to ride them properly and do all sorts of really cool things. And the way that they fund that is they ask you to donate your old bikes, and then they fix them up and resell them. So we wanted to go there and get Grayson's new bike. Well, we go there, and the lady told us that normally they're not too busy throughout the whole year, except for August when Burning Man comes through. And Burning Man is, I don't even know how to describe it, but the way to travel or get around on the playa is with bikes.
Bike around,
And so they have this whole program, and that's how they make a majority of their money. She said that it's super, super busy for them, but it's worth it. Well, it got canceled this year.
Burning Man got canceled.
Got canceled. So they were really nervous. Well, it turns out didn't matter because every single person wants to ride a bike now. And she said that they've been so, so busy since COVID started that she's exhausted.
It's a super, super awesome program, and we want to plug them. And if you are in the area, we highly recommend checking them out. It's kiwanisbikes.org. So KIWANISBIKES.org. Kiwanis Bikes. Really affordable. I got a super sweet mountain bike.
Yeah.
Rigid fork mountain bike with like crazy good components for $100.
And we got Grayson's for $50.
Yeah.
And I mean, you know that it's going to a great cause.
Exactly. And you can donate if you have old bikes that are just laying around in the garage, definitely consider just bringing it over there and donating. It's a great cause. The volunteers are super friendly, and
they were very helpful too. Like they helped us find the right bike. And I mean, it's all based on, every time you go, you're going to see something different there. So, you go once, don't find the bike for you. I don't know. Maybe go back in a week or something.
Yeah. We got Grayson's bike is this crazy bike.
Gosh.
You would never guess that this is a bike for a kid, like a second grader. It is a full suspension it's a 7-speed with full suspension. That's like, got some meaty tires, and we hooked it up with a bell, and
we always do.
He's already kind of like figured out how to change gears and how to use it. And we've already taken advantage of the gears on a super long, we did like a 6-mile bike ride for my brother's birthday. And there were some hills that he was able to use the gears on, which is pretty sweet.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's been really good. So hopefully we can continue with that.
Yeah.
It's a little bit harder right now in Reno because it's so hot.
It's 1 billion degrees.
So you have to go early.
Yeah.
Or late, I guess, but we're too tired late.
Yeah.
So
6 a.m. bike ride, 7 a.m. bike ride. That's it. Yeah.
So I'm excited to keep up with that.
Yeah.
So now it's summer. It's been 4 months. We were fortunate to spend a lot of time up at the lake, and I'm remembering a story.
Yeah. So like, many, many evenings were spent just kind of hanging out, having some beers, playing cards.
How many times do you think we saw a bear up there?
Oh my, yeah. We saw bears. We saw at least 3 bears. And of those 3, we saw some of them multiple times in the middle of the day, in the middle of the night, just walking through the neighborhood.
And we're not talking like we caught them on camera. Like
No. We saw them
in person.
In person, from inside the house, from outside the house, on the cameras, not on the cameras. There was just like tons and tons of bear activity. And I think part of it was COVID. Part of it was there's no short-term rentals. There's no like tons of tourists up there during that time. So it was quiet, and they're more confident, and they have to come further to get into the trash and such. But we had a really wild experience.
Yeah, actually, first, one of the so your parents were up there some of the time as well. They have a house near ours, and they sent us video because a bear was napping in the tree, like right next to their house, which was pretty crazy. But then one day we saw a bear. I was outside. Your sister was painting one of our doors for us, and I saw a bear for like the 5th time. Like, this is something that happens all of the time.
Yep.
It was just sauntering down the street.
Just down the middle of the street. Like,
so I told his sister, and then I went inside and called the boys and CJ so they could see the bear too. Mm-hmm. Then we remembered that his parents were outside
just like
of their
hanging out.
house. Yeah. So they saw the bear and I think kind of spooked it, and it ran up another tree.
Yeah.
And then we kind of lost track of what happened to it after that.
Yep. And so then, we go about our day. We're hanging out. We finish painting the doors. We're, laying down some more drain rock and shoveling and just doing a bunch of projects, wrapping some stuff up. And then in the evenings, we were like playing cards, drinking beers, barbecuing like most weekends. Mm-hmm. And so we were sitting in the backyard of my folks' place that has pretty tall fence around the whole backyard. Mm-hmm. It's a wood on one side. Actually, I think on all 3 sides of the yard are a wooden fence that's like, I don't know, 6 feet tall.
Yeah,
6 foot tall wooden fence that's like you can't really see through it, right? Like, and so we're all sitting there, we're playing, we're hanging out, and we hear bang, and we're like, "What the heck is going on?" There's like, it was hard to tell what it was, and we were all kind of just like, "What was that sound?" Kind of like look over, mm-hmm. and then the next thing we see is this massive paw just reach over the top of the fence. Mm-hmm. Huge paw, like the biggest paw you've ever imagined, right? And it's just...
And how far were we? Like 10 feet?
We were like 10 feet from the fence. And we're sitting there, and this huge paw comes over the fence, and my aunt just loses it completely. And she starts screaming like, "Oh my gosh, there's a bear. Get the kids inside. Get the dogs. Get the dogs."
They had a small dog, and their parents have a dog. And it was terrifying to look over and just see these big paws.
Her screaming was more terrifying, but the combination of these huge paws and her screaming. So then everyone just explodes out of their seats, and the drinks go flying everywhere. There's ISO on the ground,
There's cards everywhere.
Just cards from our Skippo game just scattered all about the entire backyard.
Grab the kids.
I like scoop up Grayson under my arm, and I'm like booking it towards the deck. I throw him up on the deck.
Poor
and then
Logan, I think, fell.
Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, he hit his chin on the table, and I like in all the chaos at some point a chair or like part of the table just exploded and like cracked into 1,000 pieces. I don't know what happened, but the bear, okay, so we see the paw, and then the next thing we see is the bear coming up and over the fence.
Yeah, so his head pops up.
His head pops up, and we see a huge bear like 10 feet away.
These crazy people, what are they doing?
Yeah, exactly. And he's just, it turns out the sound we heard was the neighbor that's behind us saw him in his yard, and he was banging on some like tin roof, like some scrap metal tin roof that was in the yard. He was banging on it with like a shovel or something to get the bear to go away. Yeah. You just make noise and they go away.
Yeah. So first of all, we 100% know how to react when we see a bear.
Yes.
And it is not like
that. It's not like that. Do not do that. Don't scream. Don't run away.
We've seen the bear so many times, and we never freaked out. Never freaked out.
No.
But I think you're right. It was just like, it felt so close, and then your aunt
and the kids
screamed,
were kind of...
and the kids were closest to the bear.
They were between us and the bear. The kids, So
we did not react the way we should have.
We did not,
And also, we were doing our best to be socially distant, and we all just bolted inside of your parents' house.
Which we were previously just like not entering.
Yeah, we had never been in their house the entire time. So anyway, it freaked us out. But then it was pretty comical because we were all huffing and puffing and we were looking outside and you can just see the explosion that happened.
Yeah.
And we really think that the bear we had seen earlier had just hopped the fence into the neighbor's yard and took a nap.
Yeah, and just like went to sleep in his garden, and then when the neighbor got home from work,
he wanted him gone.
Exactly. He was like, "Hey, get out of my berries," or whatever.
So if we had like calmly backed away, then the bear could have just left, or
gone. Like the bear was stuck in a hard place too, because it was the neighbor behind was trying to get it to go out, and then we were trying to get it after that. Like we were yelling at it. I was screaming at it. My dad was very calmly saying, "Go bear, go," which apparently is what you're supposed to say.
Yeah,
you say, "Go bear, go," in like a calm voice,
and raise your arms up so you're big and tall.
This is for like brown bears and like dark brown bears in Lake Tahoe, but not other more aggressive like black bears or grizzly bears.
They're really not interested in people.
Yeah.
They just want food and they just want to explore and take naps. Like they weren't aggressive. No. There was no reason for us to run for our lives.
He acts just like a giant dog, kind of. He's just like a big like lumbering dog.
Anyway,
it was scary. It was definitely memorable.
Yeah. But
after that, we got bear horns.
We did get bear horns, and then we've seen on our camera a mom and cubs. That that one's trippy. You would want to stay away from. Yeah. Because mamas are protective, as they should be.
Yeah, that one was, the mama came in the yard around midnight with the cub, and then we see them kind of like scamper up the tree, and then you don't see them again until like 3:45, 4 o'clock, and then she left with the cub.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was a crazy experience.
Yeah, it really was.
Yeah.
So that's how we've been doing. That's what we've been up to for the last 4 months. There's a couple of other things we'd really like to dive into, but we're going to save those for future episodes.
So much to talk about, folks.
Yeah. And I need to eat breakfast. I'm just realizing.
Oh my gosh.
I have not eaten breakfast today.
Let's go some breakfast.
Yeah. So thanks for listening. It felt so good to talk to you guys again. Let us know how your last 4 months have been.
Yes. Hit us up on Instagram where we never post, or on Twitter where we never post.
Hey.
Or on
we gotta do that.
Whatever. Actually, you want to just follow us? Just follow our normal accounts. You can just follow our personal accounts.
There you go.
Cool. All right.
Say it.
Bye, friends.